So hello everybody and welcome to today's OpenONU Go call. Thanks for joining. As usual, the call is public and recorded and will be shared on YouTube. So please be mindful of the comments you make and the information you share. First topic of the day is in relationship to the image, ONU software image update status. I have an updated version of the patch that Theo had for the version file in BBSim, so we can use it with the new APIs. Thanks a lot, Holger and Michael, for some of the suggestion you gave me yesterday. So that's up for review, and I know Hardik started some testing with that, so it's pretty good to have the tests updated with the new APIs, which is great. I also know Holger has a patch to do some locking around the image. I've taken a look at that and forgot some. Well, yeah, and I don't really remember what the failure was. So Holger, do you mind commenting on that?
Which issue do you referring at? The new patch for the list command, or?
Yes. This one.
Can you point what you?
Yeah, no, it's just I had some comments on it. It was not a failure. Sorry, I was recording another patch. This one. So I'll have to go through your through the replies to your comments.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, it's clear. The question was you said you should simply ignore if an ONU does not support optional attributes
Yes.
for the image at all. So my proposal was to at least show it in the world control output, for example, with outputting invalid response or something like this, that it will be pointed out that the ONU is violating the standard 988. So that would be my proposal, not simply to ignore it, but to write into the string or in these optional string parameters the output that it is there was an invalid response given. Actually, according to the standard, the ONU has two possibilities: either it responds with a valid value, or it responds with an unsupported in the unsupported bit mask and says, okay, attribute failure. But if neither of these cases are found in the answer, then I would like to show it in the output. Is it okay for you?
Yeah.
Then I will change the patch accordingly.
Okay.
Thanks. And there was another. If you just talking about this issue, I also inserted an command reject or an RPC rejection for this ONU image list command if the ONU is currently in the activation process and the web upload has not been finished. And I just tested it, and the response of world control upon this command, if it fails, is not really human readable. I put a statement in the Slack, in our Slack group, and the question is it possible to somehow hand over the error message which will be returned for the RPC, that this error message appears also in the response of the world control command?
Yeah, it should be possible. I would have to look into why it's not done like that. Let me take an action item for myself here.
You mean it is a special case of this command, right? Other commands behaving differently, right?
Yeah, Yeah, I'll have to look into this. I don't know it top of my head, and I wouldn't want to give you a bad answer. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
take an action item here on myself, and I'll get back to you at some point today, tomorrow on this. Okay.
But
Uh,
in the line before, you pointed out that the new API is now also supporting multiple ONUs, right?
yes, but the change in VoltCTL is actually there. It works.
Okay, that means you already have tested it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, good. On the image side, I know Hardik is working on a test. Well, updating the existing test for this, but there's really no rush for that. He's working on this patch from BBSim. Let me ping it to everybody, so if anybody has some time to look at it, they can do it. I tried to address your comments. There's still some things that I need to upload. I'm waiting for a test, but this patch here, I actually changed it according to your comments. If you have the time. Okay. Anything else on the image front?
So Andrea, you said the multi-device upgrade API was tested somehow. But Holger, I think we should have a look at this nevertheless also on our own. So we should also start that and perhaps have the focus on our upgrade processing and list processing, things like that.
Yeah, we have to check the logs. Yeah, you're right. Andrea, you tested it with real hardware?
No, not really. Just a BBSim. But I tried it once. So if you want to do more involved testing, please be my guest.
But okay, that the new API is already in master. Yeah, we don't have to.
Everything should be in master. Yes.
Okay.
Because
Andrea, for the
more device IDs.
For the BBSim patch that you mentioned here, I did not understand what topic that really was. The topic that concerned the variable images of.
So if you look at the current output of the image list, it's not really put together with the version of the image that is actually asked to install it to BBSim. It would actually fail if you use the new APIs against BBSim.
So that's what we have discussed here. So you take the content, something of the content of the file to deliver that as the OMSI version.
Yes, if you see here, the first 14 bytes, which is
what is the current? Okay.
And you provide 2 files, right?
I just one. I assume that the one installed already. The one installed already. I put them in the as constants in here. So
okay, I see. So that means you could upgrade to version 2, right?
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay. But okay, Michael, that also you have to change the version in the commands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to put this version here in the command. Otherwise, nothing works, because that's the whole point. That the version of BBSim reports and things like that, and the ONU reports is the same as the one we use. So if you want to upload, you have to upgrade. You have to use that one in the command.
Okay. Michael, do you think we can live with one file?
I didn't understand it that way. I think the other files still exist.
Actually, the version 0 and 1 are pretended to be already loaded, right? There are no files existing for that. It looks like as if they are already loaded. And then you have the possibility to load this real file either to the first or the second entity, software entity ID, right?
Well, I think that should be sufficient by now. We would certainly not test further upgrades to the same ID again. I don't see that for now.
You mean some kind of fallback or back to 0 or 1, version 0 or 1?
I have to say, I don't know how much BBSim supports of aborting. This is preliminary support because the abort is probably there, but the way we handle the images is not really. I don't really think you can really work on abort right now, but worth a try. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. So this was on the software image update. The next is on the status of the few crashes we saw on the adapter during scale testing. So if I'm not mistaken, now the PM config one is merged, and that is working. Then there was the VLAN config. Then there was the VLAN config FSM patch, which Michael updated, and we had some issues in the hardware tests due to some alpha constraint that was alpha ONU constraint that was put in, and that was not working. But now at least one test passed thanks to some corrections from Michael. So we'll have to see how that goes. Any comment on this one, Michael? You want to give to everybody? No?
Is he on mute?
Yeah,
by the way, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think and I hope the patch is working now. We had some good responses from Girish from the scale test as well.
Yeah.
The problem that we have seen recently, I hope that it might be a very sporadic problem, issues that we cannot investigate due to the missing ONU adapter lock at that time. So we have to repeat it for some tests. Perhaps then we can see if it is still failing. Yeah, so we have to observe it still in some tests.
Okay.
Just a question. So the panic is fixed. So thanks, Michael, for that. So, but the hardware test had some issues. So you are you looking for logs for that?
So Girish, we actually found the issue. Michael can talk more about it, but it is specific to the alpha ONU.
Okay.
There was something that was put in place some time ago because of some alpha ONU constraints that are present in the system. And now we moved around some operation, and that constraint was not getting done. So maybe Michael, you can comment better than I did, but now that's fixed. And so we saw a test passing and we saw a test failing. The failing ones was 1 out of 3 ONUs. So I retriggered it. Let's see how it goes. We'll retrigger it a couple of more times and see what happens.
Okay, but I did you update that? Okay, okay, I see
Yeah,
that.
the patch has been updated, Girish. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, because on my hardware, the issue was pretty consistent. So I'll pull the latest patch and see what happens.
Yep. Thanks. Okay. And then there was this access not existing index in a slice. Is that, I thought that was the same of the VLAN config FSM. Was this another issue?
Yeah, I think that's the same one as far as.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Anything else on this one before we progress forward? Okay. Then if not, next up is this bug. I have no update on it. We should get to it. I assigned it to myself for the sprint, but internal ONF sprint, but I'm not sure I can get to it. But yeah, so that's it. Torsten, do you want to give us update on how testing is going?
Yes, I can give a short update. I am today the first day back, and I will start tomorrow with NEG test. I contacted Girish with some small question. And after this, I will go on with SSH session reuse.
Great, perfect. Anything that you need us for?
Currently, no.
Okay, great. Then traffic descriptor MEs. Ozge, can you give us some update on that?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly fine.
Yes, that's great. I just finished my local test today, and I updated my patches. And I don't know why our verification is not success. And I just look at log file, and I think I resolve this problem. And I just sent my new patch before this meeting. I just finished my working.
Okay, so what you're saying is that the patch needs a review, and if the review looks good and the hardware test look good, we can then go ahead and merge it. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody can review that. I will be happy.
Okay. Michael, Holger, do you have any comments for Ozge on this one?
No, I haven't looked at that patch yet.
Okay. You mean now this is a patch which was failing in regression, right?
Yeah.
The one, yeah.
Right.
And
yes.
now you are confident that it should go, should pass here, right?
Yeah. I make my local test with a real OLT and ONU device.
Okay, but
great.
Okay, so let's see what the BBSIM test says.
No, I didn't use BBSIM.
Okay, but now with the new patch, we will see some results, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, good. So the next element, it's a big one, it's the multi-uni support.
Yeah.
On that one, I think there is just one patch that is missing on the OpenONU Go, or am I mistaken?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's only one missing. And I saw that Holger and Michael left comments on that. So thank you for the reviews. I think there is only one comment to be addressed, and we will address it today or tomorrow for your time in your time. Okay.
One thing
But,
that
sorry.
Go ahead, Audrey.
I saw Michael's comment, and I am a little confused because I don't know what should we do if come to multicast gem port. And I'm sure we don't need to create second multicast ME. And really, I didn't understand Michael's comments.
It's good. The comment is not referring to the multicast GEM port. The loop that we are talking about in the patch comment is a loop that goes over all GEM ports that have to be configured for this for this connection, let's say that way, for this traffic profile. So you also have unidirectional GEM ports in this loop, and of course they all have to be configured independently if the multicast GEM port was already configured or not. That's why you cannot break the loop at that point, but you have to continue with the possibly still existing other GEM ports.
Actually, I want to break this loop because I don't want to create a GEM port network CTP after if I will not create multicast GEM port.
So can you, Andre, could you please click the link if you have time?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Okay. What I understand from the comments, so is that the correct place?
I think that's at least what we are discussing by now.
Yeah. So this return in 1481 and the event triggered on 1480. Michael, you're saying we don't need these ones because we have a for loop on that and it's going on the other GEM ports. And after this for loop is finalized, we already are triggering the events written here.
Exactly.
So we have to remove these two lines here.
Not really remove, but you have to place a continue there.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we have to continue here to code the rest of the for loop.
Yeah, to let all the other GEM ports be configured.
Okay. Özge, the point is the event you are triggering here is already triggered in the end of the loop, at the end of the method. If you want.
We are already call this event from after this loop.
Yeah, it's there on the function. Yeah, I think I got points. We have to.
Okay.
We have to remove these two lines and put a continue there to continue, and then test it again.
Okay, sure.
Thank you, Andrea.
Okay, sounds good. Perfect. Then we'll wait an update of the patch itself. Okay, and just one further comment. This one has been exposed as a Helm chart parameter. So that's done, which is good. There is a patch which I would like everybody to review, which is this one. And this implements multi-unit support in BBSim. I gave it a +1 from my side.
Yeah, it's a pretty big.
Yeah, it's a very big patch, I know. But up to you. If you have some time, please do review it.
Sure, I'll try to take a look.
Yeah, and Andrea, from the discussion from Thorsten and Matteo, I think there was still something missing, some opportunity to set the number of UNI ports to be used in, at least in the BBSim test, yes? For the
as we said before, this is an all or nothing. It's either going to be all of them or none of them, I think.
Yeah, that's right. But we have in the ONU adapter the opportunity to set the number with the Helm chart. So let's say 1 or 4. And maybe we have something here similar here in BBSim to configure how many UNIs are to be used really, or maybe this is simply done passively based on OMSI configuration. I don't know. But
so I actually think that BBSim always reported all of them as enabled, and it was our software. It's our software that cuts them. So BBSim always has them enabled.
Yeah, I think it sends off. And it's currently 5, I think.
Yeah, but do you want that to be configurable? Because I wouldn't change that behavior. We always report them enabled, all of them, and then we go ahead and check, and then we go ahead and change it in the OpenONU as we did up until now.
Yeah, this is not what I wanted. What we were still missing is some configuration for the robot test case in connection with BBSim, so that a robot execution knows how many UNI ports are really used.
Sorry, I understood on BBSim itself. Yes. Oops.
And I was just guessing, perhaps this patch also includes something that limits the control of the UNIs to according to some outer definition, but for BBSim it might not be required. You're right.
Actually, we have this Helm chart parameter now where we can control.
Yeah, but only for the ONU adapter. It's nothing that relates to the robot test case execution.
But so the robot test case execution, actually, this is a good point. We pass it to the robot because robot then deploys, let's say BBSim, and it gives it to BBSim saying, hey, activate 2 OLTs and 2 ONUs each. But the uni, they're always active for those ONUs. So why do you need it exactly? Because you just go through all the enabled ports.
We have checks in our robot test suite that verify the number of configured UNIs and so on. So number of flows that are assigned to the ONU, and of course this varies with the number of UNI interfaces. And this check fails if the used number is not known to the robot test case. And
is it possible to expose this Helm chart parameter somehow to robot?
It's a good question. I'll have to think about that. It's either we expose it itself, the mask, or we just give it another parameter, and that's gonna be about it. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have something that is usable, I think that question more refers to the work that Thorsten has to do. So then please inform Thorsten and maybe
Okay.
of course Hardik.
Yep. Okay.
I think it's a similar issue like the KV store prefix. Maybe we can handle it in the same way.
Okay. Do you guys mind pinging Hardik? I'll make sure he knows about this issues in the stand-up, but I think he's the best person to interact with on these. Would that be okay?
Is that okay for you, Thorsten?
I can ping Hardik, but I think Theo would be the best partner.
He's on vacation for the remaining 2 days.
Good for Theo.
Yeah, he comes back Monday. So if you want something faster, it's either going to be Hardik or myself.
Okay, I can contact him.
Okay, thanks. Okay. Good. And we are saving this for later. Okay. So this the expansion of the number of units per ONU, it's saved for later time. Good. Okay, so further topic for today was yesterday at TST, we discussed the case of reconciliation failed. So the TST decision was that we will put a reconciling failed state, and that we will do not retry automatically for now. We will do nothing, because we want the operator to decide, because we already tried our best to reconcile that ONU. If the reconciliation does not work, it means that there is something stronger in play and something stronger going on. So the operator needs to take action on this, either via a hard reboot. I don't know. The operator decides. So Maninder, thanks to him, introduced the reconciled failed state in the protos. But during the patch discussion, the patch is merged, but I'll bring up the discussion nonetheless, because we can always revert it. In the patch discussion, we actually thought that we could reuse the failed state that we already have and put in the fact that it was a reconciliation failure. We put it into the ONU status, like OMCI flow pushed. So what do people think?
You mean as a new reason? Or
yes, as a new reason, exactly. Failed reconciliation failed.
Would be okay, I think. But okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you, the RW core to take action is out of, or is from the plate, so it's not considered
for
anymore.
Now, yeah, for now it is, because we really don't exactly know what to do. There was some debate at TST what we could do. We could possibly put in a retry mechanism. Then we could go forward with an ONU hard reboot, for example, issued from the core. But there are so many scenarios at play that the TST thought that it would be better for the operator to decide, effectively taking action on it, performing a MIB reset or something, a soft reboot, whatever, something, but letting the operator decide what is the best course of action, because operators might have different workflows here.
Okay.
The question is now that, given that the patch is merged, do we want to take out the reconciling failed and leave the failed status and then push a small patch in the OpenONU Go to put in the failed state, reconciled failed? Or do we just leave the reconciling failed state in, given that it was merged? David, maybe you have some thoughts.
No, actually, you have one indication would be enough, right, for the operator? Or I don't know.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. We thought the reconciling failed was needed, but it was actually not, because there is already that that failed status. But I'm okay leaving it in. I'm okay taking it out. I don't have.
And what would be the reason then? So the reason.
Then the reason you could specify like something more. I don't know, device disconnected, or I don't know, MCI channel blocked, or I don't know. You know better than I do. You could go in with the different reasons.
Currently, it was a silent issue. That we tried the reconciling and kept the reason as it was before the restart.
Okay.
And okay, but I think Maninder will implement this. I think he has to know what to set.
So what we are saying is that we're going to leave the reconcile failed in, because it would allow us to have a better reason in there. Is that true enough?
That we would have in the upper state reconciling failed and the reason, or.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's what your suggestion, yeah, right? These both will be set.
Yeah. Otherwise, we can take out the reconciling failed and have lesser granularity on it, because the reason of the failed has to be reconciled if failed. But let's leave it like this, Maninder. Leave it like this. Use the reconciling failed state from the protos. And in the reason, just specify, if you can, what's going on.
Okay,
so
I will try.
If the device is offline, just say device offline. If I don't know, there was some bad OMCI response or something like that, or the MIB synchronization got screwed up or something, just specify the best you can. And we can take, and then maybe on the review, we just change it if we see that there is a better option. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Okay, great. Then the other topic for the day is the continued work on the PM stuff. So Himani, do you want to give us an update?
Okay, I've updated the patch with the review comment, with the review comments resolution. There is one review comment by Michael that instead of fetching the support for the extended PM type, we should use the create ME to find out which ME is actually supported for the Ethernet frame extended PM. So I'm having a discussion with Chip for this, and then I'll proceed with the implementation. Other than that, I have given the images for testing to Girish, and so that's it from my side. So I'll make the changes for the Michael's comments on the OpenONU review.
Yeah, Imani, my comment was, it was just that I think it's a little bit overdriven to request all the supported elements from OMSI. The simple approach by checking that on create response is, in my point of view, much easier. You could also consider that the ONU is not correctly supporting this OMSI ME type request, and then you have the same problem. But I stated I can live with the current implementation if that is really working according to your tests. The effort for changing it to the other approach might be quite much. I'm not sure how much it really is. So if you think, and if it's already working with the other approach, I could also live with the implementation that you have provided. And maybe we can consider to change that later after 2.8 or something like that. So I didn't really want to force you to modify that, but I felt it's a little bit too much effort.
Okay, the effort would be much, but I think I should create a separate Jira for your review comment, because I think that is the best approach. Anyways, that will make the code simpler if we rely on the create rather than getting the support for all MA types.
Yeah, but it's fine that you are discussing the issue also with Chip. He also has some experience in the behavior with different ONUs. Perhaps he has some different opinion, and it's always good to discuss these things also with Chip.
Okay, sure. I'll update after having the discussion with Chip.
Okay, so what we're saying is that the patch that is up there is fine, maybe needs some tweaking in small pieces, but the major change that Michael was asking is going to be in a Jira after 2.8. Is that the correct assumption, correct decision of this?
Yeah, I'll be creating a separate Jira, but I can do it before 2.8 or not. But before that, I need to discuss with Chip. I'll update you after the. The current patch is sufficient for 2.8, but there is an alternate approach which Michael has suggested. So we need to analyze how much time that would take.
Yeah, and this Chip, in the long run, what Michael suggests is probably one of the safest ways. You know, on the create failure, if it fails, to try a different, you know, less maybe capable ME. And that's actually what the Python code would do. It would look at what the supported MEs types were, but you couldn't guarantee that the support you were requesting on a create was available, even though if the ME is available.
Yeah, so I understand Chip basically agrees to the, let's say, simpler approach, but yeah, to modify that is maybe a little bit more effort than originally planned. And yeah, I'm not sure if we should still do it in 2.8. So the question is, how much time do we still have in 2.8? I thought it is nearly up to code freeze. So
yes, indeed. So I think let's merge this patch as is, or with the minor improvements that Himan is gonna make, and
No,
then we
but
go ahead and post 2.8 make the changes that you were suggesting, Michael. Sorry, Girish, you were saying?
yeah, but I tend to agree with Chip and Mikhail on this point. I mean, the current approach is good, fetching the support from OMCI, but there is also a performance impact, and I had a related comment to that. So when you have a Thunderbird, I mean, you have like 1,000 ONUs coming together, trying to fetch OMCI support. I mean, I don't think it fits in a single message. You have to send multiple OMCI get messages to fetch the complete support. So my suggestion was to just store this OMCI support under the vendor ONU vendor model and software version, so that could be referred to by other ONUs, just like MIP template.
Oh, so
and
you're
other
saying
ONUs need not.
Yeah, the MIP template could be extended to include this.
Yeah.
Because
but Girish, that is not really a different. That is not the question of the proceeding that we have discussed. This is just a question on additional storage in the KV store to include the capability of the concerning PM request. And you can decide on that if it is supported or not by the OMSI ME type support, but you can also decide on checking the create response.
Yeah.
And
exactly. So there is much more effort involved in this to make it completely workable and optimal. So instead, go for a simpler approach that you suggested. Just try to create. If it fails, go to the lower. Like you test 64 first. If it doesn't work, then go to 32-bit. And that's probably a simpler approach, is my opinion too. Himani, is it too much effort? I mean, probably it's worth it, in my opinion. Because otherwise, there are much more changes required. I mean, if you go with the OMCI, fetching the OMCI support, I mean, there are much more changes required, in my opinion. Otherwise, trying to fetch the OMCI support for 1,024 ONUs when they all come together, I mean, there are too many OMCI messages getting exchanged and probably slowing down the system. So either we implement the complete solution in that case, or just do away with that and try to create these MEs, and on failure go to the lower supported XNet PM ME.
There are two things actually. The one is storing in the KV store based on the vendor ID and software version and model. That part is already done. So if the other ONU is of the same vendor and same model, there is no need to do the OMCI get support messages again. But the question here is if we need to decide the support based on create or based on the OMCI ME support message.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, since you have already coded, I hate to delete that part of the code, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's hard to answer here. Probably, I mean, just keeping that code probably in a different block of the code, you might want to try to create the ME, and if that fails, go to the lower support.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'll analyze how efforts it take.
Okay. Anyone has any thoughts about this? I mean, you have that code uploaded already? I mean, I could test it.
the ME support ONCI messages, the code is already uploaded. I mean, it's not merged yet, but I have shared the images with you over email.
And it has support to, store the OMCI ME under the ONU vendor model and software version.
Yeah, yeah. You can now also check the reviews on the Jared, but I have that's storing in KV store. That support is there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a bit busy with other work that I'm doing, but I can do a test and share the logs with you.
Okay, sure.
By tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. So the next few topics we have are something that are not of the highest priority, but any update?
Yeah, there's no further update on sending it OpenCI, so it's done for 2.8.
Okay. This sporadic issues, are we still seeing this, Michael?
No, we haven't seen that lately. I think we have seen some sporadic issue in conjunction with the ONU soft reboot in our regression tests in the last weeks, let's say it that way, but also only sporadically. Maybe there's still something to be investigated, but in the last days, such thing didn't appear. So we have to wait for another appearance. So that's the only instability that is known to me from our regression, something that is connected to the ONU soft reboot behavior. I don't know, maybe Thorsten, there have been some reconcile issues, but I think they were more related to the general robot test processing, if I'm not wrong.
I think the issue here was soft reboot, Michael.
Yeah, I mentioned we know that we have some sporadic issues when testing with the soft reboot that still must be investigated, but lately I haven't seen that.
Yes, last weekend we've got it in the pipeline.
Okay. So we keep an eye on the pipeline to evaluate what's happening there also in respect to sporadic issues and try to follow that up.
Okay.
You should remove your comment. That's not correct, Andrea. Not seen anymore. We saw it yesterday.
Ah.
Thanks.
Okay. These two, I don't have any update on neither of these two. So
Actually, the first one is clarified now. There was a statement of David, and that's why we keep this distroless images. And if we need the shell access, then we have to build developer images, right?
okay.
That's clear now.
Yeah, perfect. And flow error reporting that is post 2.8. So I think we're fine on that front. Okay, then I think we're done for the day. Thanks everybody for joining, and I'll talk to you next week. Let's keep up the good work. Bear in mind that I would like to code freeze on Monday, so any big code changes need to go in before Monday. Minor code changes, minor bug fixes can go in after, but everything has to be coding-wise done before Monday. That's what I would like. So thanks everybody. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.